Hey everyone, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. Want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a huge lineup of news to share with all of you today. Today's date is September 12th, 2025, and it's Friday. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Hope you're ready for your weekend as well. I do apologize I was not able to make it yesterday. I had a lot of important things that came up that I had to take care of personally. Got that done, and we're back. We've got a lot of news coming out from this war today. We're going to start out talking about massive attacks across Russia last night, primarily on the western side. We had reports of a lot of explosions up in the Leningrad region because Ukraine was going after a major oil port. We're going to talk about this report here on your screen. Ukrainian drones hit Russia's Primorsk oil port, disrupting oil shipments. Primorsk in Leningrad Oblast serves as a key hub for Russia's shadow fleet of aging tankers used to avoid sanctions. Roughly 60 million tons of oil pass through this port every year. So this is a picture of the Primorsk port located very close to St. Petersburg, also where the Ust-Luga port is located, also up in northwestern Russia. Ukraine hammered this thing last night. We have information that drones caused fires on a vessel stationed nearby and a pumping station was hit. Oil shipments have been halted at the port. This thing is shut down. Also, additional strikes targeted pumping stations feeding the Ust-Luga terminal in multiple regions of western Russia. Yeah, you heard that right. 3 other pumping stations connected to pipelines that feed the Ust-Luga port have also been hit overnight. And what we're reporting today is this Primorsk oil port is shut down. And as far as I know, this port brings in about $15 billion a year for Russia. So an absolutely massive hit overnight. We also have information in the Smolensk region, which is also in western Russia. A major oil depot owned by Lukoil Corporation in Russia was blown up. Massive explosions reported and a fire broke out. And also today, an ammo depot in Luhansk was destroyed. There's going to be the occupied territory in eastern Ukraine. A massive ammo depot over there was destroyed as well. So much information coming out from this war, guys. We're going to talk a lot about Russia's oil and gas industry just getting absolutely hammered overnight. More than 300 drones went into Russian territory. I think the Russian Ministry of Defense was claiming they shot down around 221 drones. So yeah, absolutely massive hit overnight. Let's talk more about this today. We're going to hop on over here to X with Drone Bomber. It says approximate flight routes of our UAVs. Red arrow indicates directions of strike UAVs. Purple arrow indicates directions of unmanned surface vessels. All route information is based on Russian sources. So look at this map, guys. An absolutely huge attack over here on the western side of Russia. A lot of these drones heading on up over to Smolensk region. You can see right here. We'll talk about Ver and also Novgorod Oblast. These 3 regions here, Smolensk, Ver, and Novgorod, is where we had some of these pumping stations coming under attack. There's a huge pipeline that runs up this direction on over here to St. Petersburg, which is where very close to where the Ust-Luga port is located at. So we'll talk about that. Smolensk right here is also where we had that Lukoil oil depot being smashed overnight. Drones were also reported over near Moscow also. Lots of drones were flying up that direction is what we were getting reports of last night. And then aside from that, a lot of these drones down here, not really sure what they were going after. But again, we know for sure over here in the Luhansk region, there was an ammo depot destroyed. You can see a pretty large attack down here through Crimea. And then also unmanned surface vessels. These are going to be like naval drones, Magura V5 naval drones that were attacking the port of Novorossiysk overnight as well. No video footage or any confirmation of destruction down there, but we have been reporting recently that there was going to be more attacks on the Novorossiysk port because Russia is transferring a lot of oil supplies down here right now because so many of their oil terminals have been attacked in a lot of refineries and things like that. So they're moving a lot of their supplies down here to this port because it's one of their only ports that they can send a lot of oil out of right now. And I expected Ukraine to carry out some sort of attack here. So they were attacking that port overnight. So let's keep moving here. Now for Max 25. SBU drones hit the largest Russian oil loading port on the Baltic Sea, Primorsk, at night. Fires broke out on one of the ships, and at the pumping station, oil shipments were suspended, according to Suspilne. That's a mainstream news outlet out of Ukraine. Due to the attack, the estimated daily loss of the Russian budget could amount up to $41 million. Can you believe that? So every day that it shut down, $41 million in losses. SBU forces also hit a number of Russian oil pumping stations, the NPS-3, NPS Andripol, and NPS-7. Okay, we'll talk about these in another post here in just a minute. That's going to be key as well to this hit on this port, because not only is this port shut down because the pumping station got hit, there was also an oil vessel that was apparently on fire nearby as well. So that port's now shut down. Then on top of that, a lot of the oil flows that come through these pipelines on up to the Ust-Luga port, which is right next to Primorsk, that's going to be pretty much shut down too, where a lot of oil flows are going to be slowing down due to these pumping stations being attacked. So this was a picture coming out showing a major fire that broke out at the Primorsk port. And you can see a huge hit over here. Now from NOAA reports, SBU drones struck Russia's key oil export hub, the port of Primorsk, setting fires on a vessel and a pumping station, halting crude shipments. Primorsk handles around 60 million tons of oil annually, bringing Russia $15 billion. Estimated daily budget losses from the shutdown could reach 41 million. Additional strikes targeted pumping stations feeding the Ust-Luga terminal. Here's video coming out about 50 seconds. We're not going to watch the whole thing with sound, but I'll let it play here just for a moment.
Вон грибочек поднялся, хорошенький. Сейчас еще будет.
All right, so we can hear a lot of secondary explosions there. I was wondering what this was. I was like, is there like ammunition stored over here or something? A lot of flashes of light as well. So I'm not sure exactly what was blowing up over there, but this was video footage coming out showing a major fire over here at this port overnight. So huge hits by Ukraine. Now Special Kursin Cat, in addition to Primorsk, it's said that that Ukraine Security Service, SBU, struck several Russian oil pumping stations, NPS-3, NPS Andripol, and NPS-7. These facilities are part of the main pipeline system that supplies crude oil to the Ust-Luga port terminal. So we've got the different coordinates here if you guys want to check these out online for yourself. You want to look those up. But here's like a map kind of showing. So we've got the Smolensk region here. This is going to be one of the pumping stations that came under attack. Then the Andripol pumping station, which has been attacked numerous times by Ukraine before. We have reported that. This one came under attack overnight in the Ver region. And then up in the Novgorod region, we have the NPS-7 that came under attack as well. So we don't know the extent of the damage on these pumping stations, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, even just one of these being shut down is going to stop a lot of oil flows with this pipeline that runs on up here to St. Petersburg at the Ust-Luga port. Okay, so here's some other pictures coming out as well. These are just some of the snapshots or aerial footage of these different pumping stations that came under attack. Now, again, no confirmation of destruction or anything like that, or explosions, fires. Still waiting for that information to come out, but Ukraine's general staff was confirming strikes on some of these pumping stations tonight, or last night, excuse me. Now for Max 25, Primorsk, Leningrad region. 14th SBS struck a tanker of the Russian Shadow Fleet in the port of Primorsk. There is heavy smoke with elements of spillage of oil products. Strike also damaged a pumping station. 3 sailors were wounded. Here's more pictures coming out. These were other fires that were recorded early during the day today or this morning inside of Russia's Leningrad region near the Primorsk port. Still a major fire coming from that facility after what was being reported was a potential oil vessel was attacked and also a pumping station in that area being hit. And then we also had an oil spill here as well, possibly indicating that did that ship get sunk? It definitely got damaged and was started to leak oil. We can see oil here all over the beaches up in the Leningrad region today. So very crazy to see this. Lots of huge hits from Ukraine overnight. We'll continue now to Igor Sushko, Russia. Russia Leningrad region has been under constant Ukrainian drone attack throughout the night, and it continues into the morning, 800 plus kilometers from Ukraine. Yeah, another video here of explosions inside of the Leningrad region earlier this morning. Take a look at this.
Блять, только хотел снять видео. Где это пиздец происходит? Вон они, блядь, засранцы летят ко мне. Не-не-не-не-не, сюда нельзя.
You can see a lot of the birds getting spooked over here with these massive explosions. Could be Russian air defense activity as well. I've got multiple videos today showing drones getting shot down by probably Panzer S-1 air defense systems. So very frightening video there. Let's move on to another one now from Status 6. Ukrainian drones are attacking targets around the city of Smolensk in western Russia. According to the cameraman, a gas station belonging to Lukoil was struck. I'll show you guys this video. Lots of explosions and fires here in 9 seconds.
Блять! Пизда Лукойлу!
All right, huge explosion we can see here in the video. It looks like 2 major fires that broke out. This one right here in the background is actually going to be the Lukoil oil depot. Looks like maybe a tree or something caught on fire right here as well. And there was reports coming out, like preliminary reports, late yesterday evening, right when this attack was first starting to take place. There was like 115 drones over the skies of Bryansk region, which is just south of the Smolensk region. So it was an absolutely massive attack all at once onto Smolensk here overnight. So we do have an update regarding this story here from Status 6. So it actually wasn't a gas station. He put a correction now, so we're going to go over that. So here's from Status 6 again. Correction, not a gas station, but a full-fledged Lukoil fuel depot located in the settlement of Kardimovo, located approximately 22 kilometers from the city of Smolensk itself. And we've got the coordinates here if you guys want to check that out yourself. But he pulled it up here and took a screenshot for us showing this oil depot that came under attack. Not a very large one, but very critical to the Smolensk region, and it's going to create more gas shortages inside of Russia, and we're already seeing a lot of that right now. So here's a little map to show just a little bit to the east of the city of Smolensk where this attack took place. So Ukraine's still hammering a lot of oil depots, oil refineries, things like that inside of Russia. We consistently see this almost every single day. Now video from Igor Sushko, Russia, Lukoil gas stations in Smolensk, population of 313,000. Will no longer have gasoline after the city's fuel depot was destroyed by Ukrainian drones. Yeah, here's very good video footage coming out showing this oil depot on fire inside of the Smolensk region. Take a look.
Да, на Лукойл прямо.
Wow, so pretty wild footage here. We got a group of people, looks like in their window, recording this oil depot on fire, and then bam, another drone comes in, slamming into that facility. Looks like he got hit multiple times by Ukrainian drones. We can see a massive fire there. Huge destruction to this fuel depot. Going to cause more fuel shortages now on the western side of Russia. Now Status 6 again. Russian surface-to-air missile impacts a Ukrainian drone in the immediate proximity of the Smolensk TV tower. Yeah, just a quick clip showing you guys a Ukrainian drone getting shot down by an air defense missile. Take a look at this.
Вылетело еще, полетело. Ну-ка, в Лопатинске, пацаны. Прям над ней, прям над вышкой сбила. Ух! У меня вот, вокруг дома, у меня ж тут ПВОшка стоит. Вылетело еще, полетело.
All right, so we can see lots of air defense activity inside of the city of Smolensk overnight as Ukraine was carrying out a massive attack. Lots of drones passing through Smolensk. I've got more videos here now from Mario Nafal. Missile flies inches from man's head in Russia. A Russian surface-to-air missile flew over a civilian neighborhood in Smolensk as Ukraine launched a major drone strike. The Ukrainian target, the Smolensk aviation plant, a key site producing Russia's X-55 and X-59 cruise missiles. This same plant was hit in January, sparking fires and damaging nearby homes. The war is getting closer to Russian civilians and more unpredictable. So I wasn't able to confirm whether this Smolensk aviation plant was actually hit, but it looks likely that maybe Ukraine was going after it overnight, producing X-55 and X-59 cruise missiles for the Russian military. Very crazy video right here. I want you guys to see this, about 16 seconds.
Вон люди бегают на улице.
О, блядь! Охуеть!
Вон люди бегают.
All right, I'm not going to lie. When I watched this video for the first time, it almost made me jump out of my socks. I was not expecting this air defense missile to fly directly over this guy's head. It was absolutely loud as well. There it is, going to intercept a Ukrainian drone. So you can see a lot of drones were attacking over here. Somebody was even running for cover over here, probably trying to get in their car as they were hearing all these massive explosions. Now, Vicegrad 24, a drone attacked the operating unit of the Smolensk nuclear power plant. Rosatom reported that several windows and auxiliary buildings were shattered, but the attack did not affect the plant's operational safety. So kind of dangerous here. I'm not sure if this was a coordinated strike from Ukraine. I'm not sure why they would go after a nuclear power plant. It's very dangerous to do so. But apparently we did have reports of an explosion over here, and windows were being blown out in some of the buildings nearby. Thankfully, there was no major destruction to this plant. Obviously, a very dangerous target to go after. So I can't confirm why there was explosions over here, but allegedly a drone had attacked the operating unit of this Smolensk nuclear power plant. Now for military news, UA kamikaze drones destroyed a Russian ammunition depot in Luhansk region at night. We've got a 16-second clip showing this ammunition depot over here that was blew up on the Russian side in occupied Luhansk region inside of Ukraine. All right, we can definitely see what appears to be a major fire over here in the distance, and on top of that, lots of secondary explosions going off. It looks like we had a huge ammunition depot that was destroyed here. We've been seeing a lot of that in the Luhansk region and also Donetsk region. I think Ukraine was attacking Donetsk last night as well. Now from Igor Sushko, Russia. Viterovo oil pumping station owned by Transneft struck by Ukrainian drone in Vladimir region, 200 kilometers east of Moscow, 700 kilometers from Ukraine. So this video was just being released today. Apparently this strike took place about 5 days ago. Ukraine struck another pumping station over here. This was video footage showing what appears to be a Ukrainian Lyuty drone slamming right into this facility, and I do have an update on this situation today. We've been reporting so many oil pumping stations coming under attack recently. I'm not sure which one this was, but allegedly it was about 5 days ago, according to reports coming out today. So here's more information now from Max25. Analyzing the video of the strike on Viterovo NPS, we came to the conclusion that Lyuty UAV was recording hitting the technological overpass on which pipelines, signal, and power cables are mounted, according to Cyber Barashno. The station is an intermediate pumping station on the route Viterovo to Tuma to Ryazan. It provides transportation of diesel fuel and jet fuel in the direction of the Ryazan refinery. Any malfunctions in the operation of the Viterovo NPS directly affect the supply of fuel in the central part of Russia. Okay, so this is a pretty big hit right here. I'm not able to confirm if there was a shutdown here at this oil pumping station, but apparently it does put diesel fuel and jet fuel through the pipelines here, and that's what this oil pumping station is used for, to push those fuel through these pipelines. And we can see this video here where the strike took place. They're kind of showing where the strike took place at. You can see right here kind of in the center of the facility. And Cyber Barashno is going to be like an open source intelligence group. They report a lot of information on X. And then we can see on this map where it was located here. We've got Moscow. Here's the capital right here. Just to the east of that, in the Vladimir region, is where this strike took place. And kind of showing how these fuel supplies would be transferred from this oil pumping station down to the Ryazan oil refinery. So a lot of areas over here next to Moscow would be affected by this if this thing happens to be shut down. Not able to confirm that just yet, but if we get more information, I'll let you guys know. All right, now from United 24 Media, it says Poland's Prime Minister Tusk, we would also wish that the drone attack on Poland was a mistake, but it wasn't, and we know it. This is a very big statement coming out from the Polish Prime Minister today, Donald Tusk, and stating that this attack that came from Russia onto Poland just a few days ago was actually deliberate. The foreign minister had already stated that. His name is Radoslaw Sikorski. He mentioned that pretty much within 24 hours of this attack, that this attack was actually deliberate. Now we've got the Prime Minister today coming out and stating that it was deliberate as well. I do have multiple reports today and information updates for you guys regarding this attack from Russia. A lot of these drones were coming through Ukraine and also through Belarus, attacking directly into Poland. Now from Vladislav Vlasiuk. On the ground drones that visited Poland yesterday, 19 units with extra fuel tanks. Some carried Iranian Nasser Satnav with 4-element CRP antennas, resistant to radio warfare. This rules out jamming or signal loss, no coincidences. Okay, so this confirms even further when they're talking here about extra fuel tanks, we reported that some of these drones were reportedly having extra fuel tanks on board. That's what allowed these things to even fly into Poland to begin with. Some of them going well over 500 kilometers deep into Polish territory. And apparently these things were fitted also with Iranian Nasser SatNav with 4-element CRP antennas, which allowed them to be resistant to electronic warfare, which completely goes against what the Russians were saying. The Russians were saying that maybe Ukraine was suppressing these with electronic warfare that caused them to malfunction, maybe fly into Poland. So apparently the fact that these would prevent them from being affected by radio warfare, that explains that the Russians are lying about that, obviously, right? So it says here this rules out jamming or signal loss, that there's no way that any kind of electronic warfare would have caused these drones to fly into Poland, that this was obviously a deliberate attack. So more information about that today, confirming that Russia did this on purpose. Now, Visegrad 24, Polish authorities now confirm 21 Russian drones entered the country's airspace on September 10th. Presidential Foreign Policy Advisor Marcin Przydax, if I'm saying that right, I might be butchering that name, and I do apologize for that. That's what he said, apparently. Earlier, Prime Minister Tusk had reported 19 drones. Okay, so just a couple of days ago, the Prime Minister Donald Tusk was reporting that about 19 drones went into Polish territory, Apparently that number has been revised now and up to 21 drones, okay? So that's a pretty large attack onto Poland. This was highly unlikely to be an accident or a mistake. Most likely Russia did this on purpose. You guys can let me know what you think down below. Now from Faytuk's network, Trump on Russian drones in Poland could have been a mistake, according to Reuters. Yeah, this was Trump yesterday. Maybe you guys know about this information, but because I wasn't here, I figured I'd pull this up, talk about this real quick. I do have a few things that we'll kind of discuss that was coming out yesterday. But yeah, Trump was basically telling reporters that he thinks it could have been a mistake. Now, he's not saying it was, but he's saying it could have been a mistake. And then on top of that, he was saying that he was still very unhappy with what's going on over there. So far, still no major action coming from Trump yet, just making a few statements as of yesterday. Now, Visegrad 24, Poland completely closes its border with Belarus. Polish border guards have set up barbed wire, deployed shields, and halted all crossings. Today marks the start of the Russia-Belarus Zapad 2025 drills, which, according to Lithuanian intelligence, will involve up to 30,000 troops. Okay, this video footage coming out from the border of Belarus and Poland. These are Polish forces here setting up barricades to block some of the bridges and close down the border. We heard about this from Prime Minister Donald Tusk in Poland. He said they'd be closing their border. There was also huge news that came out yesterday that I was not able to report to you guys, that Poland closed down its eastern airspace with Ukraine and also Belarus. And on top of that, Latvia was doing the same thing. They closed down their eastern airspace with Russia and Belarus as well. And then also, Poland deployed 40,000 troops to the border of Belarus because they are concerned about the Suwalki Gap could come under attack. That's a major corridor that pretty much splits Kaliningrad from Belarus, and there's been a lot of reports that Russia could be using this major exercise in preparation for an attack on the Suwalki Gap. So absolutely craziness going on over here inside of Eastern Europe. Lots of preparation for a potential attack from Russia. Now from NOLA Reports, the head of the Bundestag's Defense Committee has called on NATO to shoot down drones over Ukraine, according to Spiegel. He also stressed the need to strike drone production and launch sites in Russia and urged allies to equip Ukraine accordingly. Wow, isn't that interesting? I do apologize, it's not in English here, but this was the report today from Spiegel. So yeah, the head of the Bundestag's Defense Committee calling on NATO to shoot down drones over Ukraine. So this is out of Germany, and we have been hearing, could Poland get involved and start shooting down drones over Ukraine? I mean, Ukraine's been calling for Poland to help out for a long time, but Poland did not want to get involved as it could draw them into the conflict. But now that they've been attacked by these drones, I think Poland's going to be taking some action. That was another big report that came out from Poland yesterday, that Poland is preparing to take political and military action regarding this. So we're not sure exactly what they're going to do yet, but that was a huge report coming out yesterday on mainstream news. So we're going to be seeing Poland taking a lot of action here soon, but this is what Germany's calling for as well. Now, Max 25, EU leaders convinced Trump that Russia is not interested in ending the war and must be forced to sit down at the negotiating table, according to Politico today. So Politico, another mainstream news outlet, take this one with a grain of salt. I mean, we've seen this so many times that, EU leaders talk to Trump, Trump sides with EU leaders, and okay, yeah, we got to put pressure on Russia. I'm not sure what Trump's going to do yet. He has come out and stated recently he's ready to move to phase two. How is he going to respond? What are they going to do? He tried to put pressure onto European leaders to sanction China and cut off purchases of Russian oil and gas. But it looks like EU leaders, according to some information that came out a couple days ago, they're not going to be willing to do that. So what is Trump going to do next? How is he going to pressure Russia into sitting down at the negotiating table with Ukraine and end this war? We're going to have to see what he plans to do next. Now from next, Trump once again expressed frustration with Putin and promised tough measures. Reporter says, what would tougher measures against Putin look like? Trump says it's going to be a strong sanctions hit on banks along with measures related to oil and tariffs. It's incredible. When Putin wanted to do it, Zelensky didn't. When Zelensky wanted to do it, Putin didn't. Now Zelensky wants to do it, and Putin is uncertain, the U.S. president added. So I wonder if with that kind of statement, we might see Trump going after Ukraine as well with some sort of sanctions or tariffs or anything like that. We'll have to see what they're going to do. But yeah, coming out stating here that we could see strong sanctions onto Russia's banks, and then on top of that, tariffs on oil. Now that could possibly be Russia's trading partners, China, India, Brazil. We'll have to see what he plans to do, but there's a little bit of information on what Trump might be planning here next. You guys can let me know what you think on that down below in the comments. Also from next, Prince Harry and Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski arrive in Kiev. The British prince stated that he wants to help with the rehabilitation of wounded Ukrainian soldiers. Together with his Invictus Games Foundation team, he will present new initiatives to support the injured across all regions of Ukraine. Sikorski also arrived on an official visit on behalf of Poland. So here's pictures today. We had the prince out of Britain. Harry here was showing up today to meet with Ukrainian representatives. And then also we've got Radoslaw Sikorski, the foreign minister we were just talking about, out of Poland. He also arrived in Ukraine. We've got some information on some statements coming out from some conferences today. Here's one from Max 25. Denis Smile, who is the defense minister out of Ukraine, that's him right there on the right side of this photo, says a meaningful meeting in Kiev with a delegation led by Radoslaw Sikorski. We discussed the possibilities of cooperation to intercept air targets. Ukraine is ready to share with allies its experience in combating drones, exchange technologies, and launch joint ventures. Poland is interested in joint production of drones and long-range weapons, including ballistic missiles. Separately, we discussed the use of the European safe mechanism for development of the defense industry in our countries. Okay, so this is very big. This is going to be Poland and Ukraine working more closely together, especially to combat drones. Is Poland going to get involved directly inside of Ukraine to help shoot down drones? I'm not sure yet, but at least this is a start where Ukraine is going to be sharing a lot of their technology and expertise. They're even going to be training Polish soldiers on how to shoot down incoming drones, so that way they can be better prepared, because what they did just back on Tuesday night or Wednesday when this attack took place in Poland, the NATO forces used very expensive missiles to shoot down extremely cheap drones. Okay, a lot of these drones could be like 100,000 or less, and some of these missiles that were being used were millions of dollars. So they obviously got to find cheaper ways to counteract these drones, and now considering that Poland could be attacked again from Russian forces with these drones, they're getting prepared and also teaming up with Ukraine to utilize their experience and expertise to better protect Poland. So very big news today. All right, now from Grayskull. Extreme encirclement risk for Russia's biggest 2025 offensive success. Only 450 meters of controlled terrain left for Russian forces left near Dobropilya. So here's an update today in the Dobropilya direction down in the Donetsk region, southeastern Ukraine, where the Russians just a few weeks back, probably about 3 weeks ago, made a major breakthrough over here. It started to push through Ukrainian defense lines. It's really turning bad for them, and there's actually two areas here, this one and this one, where they risk encirclement. So if you notice right here, just a small amount of land, if Ukraine punches through here, these Russian soldiers are going to be completely surrounded. And then also right here, we've got two areas Ukraine's pushing through right here and also near Razin. And if they punch through here and cut this off, there's going to be two major areas where Russian soldiers will be encircled. We continue to hear that a lot of Russian soldiers are either surrendering over here, If not, they are being captured and taken prisoners. So it's continuing to collapse in this area. of the Dobropilya direction for the Russians. It's getting worse and worse by the day, risking more and more encirclement. Now from St. Javelin, the Kremlin announces a pause in negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, according to Dmitry Peskov. That's going to be the Kremlin spokesman. So yeah, he was announcing today there's a pause in negotiations. I'm not sure why. He also came out and announced that Russia is not a threat to NATO, even though they're doing these Pod 2025 exercises, the military exercises inside of Belarus right now, that they are not a threat to NATO. There's nothing to worry about. But we all know that even though Russia says that, I mean, look at what they did to Ukraine. They said they wouldn't attack Ukraine, but they did. So obviously, NATO's taken this very seriously. That's why we have Poland deploying 40,000 troops to the border of Belarus right now to prepare for any possible attack or aggression coming from Russia and also Belarus. Now, Anton Gerashenko. A radiation catastrophe could occur in Kharkiv. Russia is shelling a laboratory of the institute storing several dozen pounds of enriched uranium. According to New York Times, the Kharkiv Institute of Physics and Technology has already been hit by Russia 74 times. It has been damaged so many times by drones, missiles, and artillery that it could not be an accident. After the Russian invasion, scientists halted experiments and put the neutron source into a long-term shutdown mode, but the uranium remained. Along with the danger of a release, relocation is understandably an extremely complex task. Wow, what an absolutely insane story here with this facility being hit more than 74 times. That's crazy. And this really shows that Russia does not care what happens to Ukraine. I mean, Kharkiv is a major city. A lot of people live over there. Imagine if there was a huge explosion here at this plant, spreading nuclear radiation everywhere. A lot of people would be affected by this and possibly even losing their lives. So this really shows that Russia does not care what happens to Ukraine. They could obliterate everybody and not even bat an eye. What an absolutely insane story today coming out from the New York Times. Hopefully that never happens and they're able to protect this facility. But considering it's been hit 74 times, something major could really happen over here. Now from Kirilo Sevchenko. Breaking, UK hits Russia's war machine with 100 new sanctions targeting Putin's shadow fleet and military suppliers. The new sanctions target another 70 ships of Shadow Fleet and 30 companies and individuals that support Russia's military machine by supplying key equipment, including electronics, chemicals, and explosives used in the production of missiles and other weapon systems. So huge coming out for the UK today, imposing 100 new sanctions onto Russia, okay, going after their Shadow Fleet, military suppliers. That's very good to see. A lot of companies being affected by this as well. And it's affecting equipment, electronics, chemicals, explosives that are used for Russia's military. Very good news to hear out of the UK. They've really been supporting Ukraine a lot. Vladimir Zelensky came out on X today and put out a major thank you over to the UK for doing this. This is going to put more pressure onto Russia, cause more economic loss, and further help to end this war. Now from Kyiv Independent, Japan slaps new sanctions on Russia over Ukraine war. Japan is also immediately lowering the G7 imposed price cap on Russian seaborne crude from $60 to $47.60 per barrel, echoing similar steps by the EU, the UK, and other partners. Very big to hear this as well. Zelensky also came out thanking Japan for doing this. It's going to hurt Russia's oil economy even more. That's going to be forcing seaborne crude prices down from $60 over to $47.60. It's really going to be hurting Russia's economy. We know they got to be maintaining right about $60 to $65 per barrel. And this $47 per barrel price cap is really going to be hurting Russia's economy. So very big news to hear. Lots of support coming out from Ukraine's partners today. Here's another one from Military News UA. Latvia will allocate 5 million euros for the purchase of American weapons for the armed forces of Ukraine. Now, $5 million might seem like, a drop in the bucket. For the most part, it is, but this was another report today from Latvia coming out today and announcing 5 million euros for the purchase of American weapons for Ukraine. That's this whole NATO system right now where NATO is working to purchase weapons from the United States, send them over to Ukraine directly. And Latvia came out allocating 5 million for Ukraine today. So very good to hear. Also, NOAA reports Ukraine's air defense shot down or suppressed 33 out of 40 Russian drones launched overnight from Kursk, Milarovo, and Primorsko-Akhtarsk. Most were Shahed. 6 drones hit 3 locations, while the rest were intercepted across the north, east, and center of the country. So not too large of an attack coming from Russia overnight, just about 40 drones, much smaller than we have been seeing recently. I mean, Ukraine's just been getting hammered recently from a lot of drone attacks. So it's probably good for the people that live there. Not too many attacks taking place inside of Ukraine. Seem to be relatively calm for the most part. We can see a lot of these were shot down overnight, 33 out of those 40. So good to hear they destroyed a good amount of these overnight with Ukrainian defense forces. Now from Kyiv Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of September 12th, according to the armed forces of Ukraine. In our final update of the day, Russia's losses as of September 12th, 890 troops, 2 AFVs, 64 vehicles and fuel tanks, 1 tank, 40 artillery systems, 273 UAVs, 2 MLRS, and it looks like that is it. So very good to see this right here. We're seeing at least one multiple launch rocket system being destroyed. In this case, overnight, 2 of them were being taken out. So very good news to see there. 40 artillery systems, about average. What we see right here, about 30, 40 or so per day. Tanks and AFVs, very low numbers today. Same with vehicles and fuel tanks. And aside from that, troop losses, right about normal. We usually see about 800 or 900 on average every day for months now. So guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in for today's update. An absolutely massive attack from Ukraine overnight, striking lots of critical oil and gas infrastructure inside of Russia. I'll continue to monitor reports coming out from Russia and Ukraine. If we get some other big updates, I'll do another video for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in on today's date, September 12th, 2025 on Friday. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and get out there, enjoy some sunshine with your friends and family this weekend. And let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.